Alright guys, so I am back with another video. I'm going to try to clear up how to create slot actors for your holsters, for your weapon holsters or whatever. A lot of people keep thinking that there's a bug with them, that they don't work properly, but in truth, it's fairly easy to not understand it. To me, it makes sense, but it can be very easy to make mistakes when handling this, and that's simply because it's a flexible system, and there's a lot of moving parts in here, and it's fairly easy to get these into, well, to accidentally overlook something. So I'm going to start by right clicking and open up this gun, M4A1. I'll lead with this. So the guns have this item data, and this is normally where we get their ID from, their item ID gameplay tag. That's where this comes from. And that's under the held object state rifle M4A1. So be careful whenever you're assigning these and setting these, because if you create a very specific one like I have here under your gameplay tags, then it's going to be very easy to accidentally get those confused. Actually, let me open this up, because the slots might have a specific one too. So I'll go ahead and explain to you a few things. Now, I am probably going to make a slight change to how the slot tags are handled, so that they're handled more like the item tags, and I'll explain that to you here in a minute. Actually, I'll just go ahead and explain them to you now. So if I go to set up assign slot actor, this is what gets called whenever the slot actors get attached to a slot. And the slots are on your character blueprint, your AC slot manager. By default, this item array is empty. I'll probably go ahead and fill those out as defaults, but you can always clear those if you don't want those to be default values. But anyway, so these right here, these item slots, these are the slots themselves, and all these do is they allow you to identify like which slot goes to which socket and which hand it requires. That's what a slot is. It's just a way to identify things and keep track of things. So I'm going to rename this from allowed slot gameplay tag right here. I'm going to rename this to slot ID, because these gameplay tags are really the identifier for these slots. And so whenever you go inside of here and you start trying to assign a slot actor, it has to go through there and it has to figure out which one has that gameplay tag. Now, I would have liked to have this as a map, but there was no easy way to handle this as a map where the key was a gameplay tag. I mean, I could probably. I would have to go back and put these as, sorry about that. I'll just not reset that one this time. So, yeah. So I may consider and see if there's maybe a better way to manage that from a map, but I don't think there is. Maps can cause certain complications in some situations. But anyway, moving on, these are slots. They're identified by these slot IDs right here. If you're seeing this now, it might already say slot ID. So if we go over into our slot for our M4A1, you'll see we have this accepted slot tag. This accepted slot tag is a gameplay tag container, and it holds a list of slots that we want or that we're okay with these being attached to. So there may be some edge cases for that, but in most situations you're probably just going to have one under here, but you could have two. It just depends on your situation. I decided to go this route simply because. Now, right now, these require exact matches, but I'm probably going to uncheck that so it doesn't require an exact match, and I'll explain to you why now. So if we come over here and we see the item tags, it's already set up to not require an exact match for these. And that's all based around how things are categorized. So if you create a gameplay tag, it's important that you create proper structured gameplay tags like this right here. And you don't have, maybe you can think of a better way to structure these yourself. That's cool. I'm not saying that the way I did it was the best. It probably isn't. It's most likely isn't, in fact. But I'm going to explain to you. So if we try to pick up a gun with a pistol M9 or just a pistol, a state pistol gameplay tag, then it's not a rifle. So it still won't, even if we just had that set to rifle, it still would not pick up that pistol. Just like if it's an M4A1, it won't pick up the M9. It'll fail, even if we don't require an exact match. And so if it's not an exact match, then it means that anything that's a subtag of this tag will be accepted. So if it was just held object state rifle, then anything that's a child tag of rifle, a subtag of rifle, anything that's a subtag of rifle will be passed if it doesn't require an exact match. However, if it's a rifle in 4A1 and this is rifle, then it will fail. So that's how that works. So right now on the slot tags, if this was a slot actor.back.gun.rifle, then it would fail because it's not a .m4a1 at the end. In fact, I can actually show you how that works right here. So if I go ahead and start the game, it'll pop it. And if we come over here, let me see. So if it doesn't require an exact match, then any one of these will pass. If it has any one of these, it'll pass. If it is an exact match, then only this one will pass. My bad, let me go back. And to further clarify that, if the one that it was comparing against was dot rifle, then it would fail, even if it didn't require an exact match. And that's because it's on a different branch. All right, so with that cleared up and out of the way, right now the slot actors have require an exact match, but remember though that inside of here, these are gameplay tag containers, and you can add as many gameplay tags as you want under here. So if I come over here and I say rifle, anything that is a subcategory of rifle, and sorry, I forgot to uncheck that. Anything that's a subcategory of rifle can be attached to that thing on his back, that holster. And you'll see I can pull it out and I can put it back. And if I come over here and I set this to just DAO, it still can be attached. But if I set this to pistol, state pistol, then it can't be. And that's a bug. Yeah, I'll fix it later. It's a timing issue. I accidentally messed that up in one of the last updates, I guess. But if it's just state, you'll see it works. All right. Or if it's state rifle. So I hope that really helps nail that down for you guys, because it's important that you understand how those tag relationships work. That's what makes them different than regular tags, is how they're handled in a structured manner, and you can compare against them. And the reason why that's powerful right there is because when you're not using an exact match, what you can do is you can have subcategories and you can have this envelop entire subcategories of rifles. So you could have a subcategory for all the rifles that can be placed in this holster, or all the rifles that can be placed in that holster. And those holsters will only allow those rifles that fit inside of them. But you won't have to go through here and just start filling up this huge gameplay tag table that spans an entire page. That's the reason why I handled those like that. In fact, I might even go back and just not have these gameplay tag containers. I might just go back and have them gameplay tags. So anyway, so now that I've explained that to you in great detail and how that works, let me go ahead and show you guys how to create one from scratch. So I've already prepped some folders for them. So what I need to do is I need to create some gameplay tags. So I'm going to go into the slot actors and I'm going to duplicate this. And this is going to be my slot ID. That's going to be an M1A1. And then under the held objects, I'm going to duplicate this one and do the same thing. I'm going to move this up here. And so under here, I'm going to say, oh, I need to create a new one actually for this. So let's just duplicate these. We're going to copy these over into this folder. And we're going to batch rename. I'm going to replace 4 with 1. And I'm going to open this and replace this right here. And honestly, these aren't actually being used, in case you were wondering. It doesn't, because I'm actually already grabbing them, not from this, but from here. And the reason, yeah, I'm probably going to refactor this. I'm not really sure yet, but the ideal was to allow you to have a slot that can be placed on more than one. A slot actor that can be attached to more than one slot. But I'm not really sure that that's adding anything to it useful. And in fact, it may even be causing confusion. And so I may just move over to using this one and just remove this right here. So, yeah. So now we just need to replace these gameplay tags. And so now this can hold an item of type held object, state rifle, M1A1, and it can be attached to slots of type slot actor, back, gun, rifle, M1A1. So we need to create one for that. Over here on the item slots on our slot manager, we just need to, I'm going to call this back hour. And this is a slot actor, back, gun, rifle, M1A1. So now we need to also create our socket. Don't forget to create your socket. A lot of people forget to create the socket, or they forget to, set up the tags properly, or they identify the tags. They get the slot actor tag confused with the item tag. The held object tag. So I already know this is 90 and this is negative 180. And then I'm going to copy this here over to this. And I'm going to invert this because I've already done this several times. And now I'm going to just test real quick. Dummy. I'm going to select that. And you'll see it's right there up against the other one. In fact, I think those two are overlapping right there. I see some Z fighting. So the slot should be set up and working properly now. So I'll drop that out there, and then I just need to go to guns. I'm going to copy this and this because I'm just going to use the same character data. I'm not going to set up a whole new like weapon or anything, and this isn't going to affect the results. This will still act the same way as if you'd set all this stuff up from scratch. But I've already went over that stuff in a earlier video, and this is just holding character data related to the gun. Let me expand to that. So again, battery name. I'm really glad that they added this here. That battery name is pretty useful. I'm going to drag that over here. And I'm just going to give it a new tag, M1A1, and make sure that's the held object state rifle M1A1, not the slot actor variant. So you have to make sure this tag right here is the same tag that's right here. If not, if they don't match, then it won't be attached. Drop that out there. Now, as long as I didn't forget anything, he'll pick them up. It'll attach. You see it attached. And then I got the M1A1. You see it says gun M1A1 was picked up. And then if I holster, it holsters it into the right one. Now I can drop this one, and I can pull this one out and try to holster it again, and it still goes into the right one. Now the reason why that's important to know is because over here we're iterating through this array, and this M1A1 comes after the M4A1. That's how you know that it works. So I hope that clears up a lot of the confusion for you guys. I know it can be confusing working with that system. It's a bit the more flexible you make a system, the more easy it is to accidentally screw stuff up or overlook something, or with any complex system really, because there's so many moving parts in complex systems that it's not difficult to overlook something. But anyway, so I'll see you guys in the next video.